Okay, guys, we are back for part 3 of elimination. So again, same exact steps that we've been doing in parts 1 and 2. Still canceling a variable, then plugging in what we get for the next variable. But this time again, it's not going to be quite as easy or obvious to figure out which variable eliminates from the beginning. So that part is the part that we've added in. That's why we've broken it up into so many sections, okay? So we're still wanting to look for that to happen, and you still kind of have a choice in which one you pick. It can be either way, doesn't matter. So that you guys can decide which way you want it to go, okay? And you should still get the same answer either way. So for this one, we have 3x and 5x, or we've got negative 2y and negative 5y. For me, it doesn't really matter here because we're going to have to multiply both of them either way. I see 5 and 3 becoming 15, or in the middle, we could make 5 and 2 become 10 because they share those numbers. So you're always thinking about what numbers they can multiply by to be. If you can't think of it, you can always just take the first two numbers they give you, like this would be 3 and 5, and you can just multiply them by each other. So if you multiplied the top row by 5, and the bottom row by 3 and made sure that one of them was a negative, then it's always going to work. So if you're having trouble and you can't remember numbers they both go into, just swap the first two numbers and make sure one of them is its opposite, and it's going to work every time, okay? So this actually works for me. This is perfectly fine. But now we have to distribute through the top and distribute through to the bottom one to make them both the same. So our top row becomes 15x minus 10y equals 10. And the bottom row becomes negative 15x plus 15y equals negative 30. Okay? So you'll see my x's are going to cancel, positive, negative. All right, and those are going to go. I've got negative 10 plus 15 is 5y. And then 10 minus 30 gives me negative 20. So if I divide by 5, there's my one step. I get negative 4 for my y. So I'm going to have something, comma, negative 4. And then we're going to plug that in to that top equation like we did for the past two lessons. So I have 3x minus 2 times negative 4 equals 2. 3x plus 8 equals 2. Negative times a negative. Subtract 8 from both sides, and we have 3x equals negative 6. Divide by 3, and x equals negative 2. So my answer becomes negative 2, negative 4. And remember, same exact thing. If I were to graph it, they would intersect at negative 2, negative 4. Or if you were to substitute it in. Okay? All right, so for example 1, we have 5x and 3x, or we've got 4 and 6. Okay, so we could do the exact same thing almost that we just did on the first one to get rid of x's. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to look at the y's just to kind of make you think about it a little bit. So the y's are 4 and 6. Well, you could do times 6 on the top times negative 4 on the bottom, and they could just be 24. But 4 and 6 also go into 12. So I'm going to make them both become 12 by multiplying. Now, the only thing that does for you is it makes your numbers a little bit smaller, because then the smaller number you multiply by, the smaller number you're going to get at the end. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this entire top row by 3 to make 4 become 12, and the entire bottom row by negative 2 to make this become negative 12y. Okay, so again, distribute all the way through and then all the way through here. Okay, I have 15x plus 12y equals negative 42. And on the bottom, I've got negative 6x minus 12y equals negative 12. Okay, big addition problem because I have my 2 that cancel. 15 minus 6 gives me 9x equals, and then this guy's going to give me negative 54. Divide by 9 on both sides, and x equals negative 6. So I have negative 6 comma something, right? And then this one is going to type back in. So 5 times negative 6 plus 4y equals negative 14. So I have negative 30 plus 4y equals negative 14. I'm going to add 30 over. These are gone, and I have 4y equals 16. Divide by 4, and y equals 4. So there's my second half. Okay, again, it's all the same stuff, you guys. It's just kind of making you look at those numbers up in front before you get started. That's the only thing that's different today. All right, so same thing. Here we go. I have 5 and 3, so again, we could do the exact same thing again that we already did, or 4 and 9. Well, 4 and 9 don't share anything except 36, so I'm going to go ahead and use the x's with 5 and 3. So the top, I'm going to multiply by 3, and the bottom, multiply by 5, and one of them has to be a negative. It doesn't matter which one. I usually always pick the bottom. So here we go. 15x plus 12y equals negative 90. Through the bottom, negative 15x plus 45y equals 90. Okay, so then these are gone, big plus sign. 12 plus 45 gives me 57y, but negative 90 plus 90 is 0. So that makes it pretty easy. When I divide by 57, I get y equals 0. Okay, so first half, something comma 0. And then let's plug it in. 5x plus 4 times 0 equals negative 30. This is gone, so I have 5x equals negative 30. Divide by 5, and x equals negative 6. So negative 6, 0 gives you your answer. Okay? Same thing again. 4 and 6 here, or negative 3 and positive 4. I'm going to choose 3 and 4 just because one's already positive and one's already negative. So I'm going to, again, 3 and 4 both go into 12. So I'm going to make them become 12 by multiplying. So the top would have to be multiplied by 4. The bottom would have to be multiplied by 3. Again, I don't need to do a negative because negative 3 is already there. So I'm going to have 16x minus 12y equals negative 8. 18x plus 12y equals 93.